Thank you for tuning in, folks. Thank you for tuning in. I am your host, Mr.A. We're talking some heavyweight bouts here. You know, if you're a new viewer, please subscribe. Try and help the show get to 600 before the year is out. Now, the Double RT Boxing Show, for the new viewers, created about a year and a half ago. We cover the fights. We try and cover a lot of fights here. But we talk about the belts, the intercontinentals, the silvers, the diamonds, and we talk about the rankings. In this Carlos Takam fight, Senad Gashi. I watch a lot of fights, man. I watch. Sometimes I'm like, damn, these fights are tough to watch. But I like watching these type of fights. This is what the show is about. The middle guys trying to stay in the picture, trying to come up. Now, I knew who Senad Gashi was from covering Tom Schwartz. I thought Gashi, he getting knocked out in the 7th. The first 3 rounds, he was on his bike, trying to move, throwing some weird soft pity pat pot shots. And to me, watching that, it let me know, obviously there's levels to boxing, tiers. And Senad been in there with Tom Schwartz. Tom Schwartz, I believe, was like ranked at least 3 or 4. We'll check it out right here on the Double RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr.A. Mr. Tom Schwartz. I believe he's like ranked like number 4 by the WBO. Because I think it's like a WBO Intercontinental or something like that. Oh wait, Dylan White has that. Tom Schwartz, I think, has the internet. He has one of those high belts. He's number 3. And for Tom and for Senad to been in the ring with him, that lets me know, because he, even though he didn't attack Tom, he put more of a offensive tack together without all that movement. He came a little forward. And that let me right there, like, what Takam brings to the ring. How the other tier, where's he at? Tom Schwartz here. How the other tier looks at him. The WBO Intercontinental Heavyweight. That's what Intercontinental, and Dylan White had the International. Okay. So that's how that breaks down. White, the international champion, and Dylan is and Warts is the intercontinental. And you ask, what's the difference? Well, hey, perfect example of what we do on the Double RT Boxing Show. If you're a new viewer and you're like, okay, so many belts, fuck it, that's why boxing sucks. We're out right here at Double RT Boxing Show. Mr.A, we're going to try and change that up for you. And if you're a new old viewer and you know what the belts are, hey, let's talk some belts right here on the Double RT Boxing Show. So the international and their intercontinental. I always say it's pretty intercontinental continent. You're represented as you collect belts, domestic level. I guess the easiest way to explain it, because the United States don't really do the whole. They do it, but fans and the shows don't talk about how the USA belt, the NABO, the NABF leads to the USA, and they don't talk about I think the easiest way to describe it is how the UK belts are, because they're a little more bigger on domestic level fighting and building your way up. So it'd probably go to like a Southampton area belt to I would think a Commonwealth or a British belt. Then to so you go from a little community type belt in the South area to a British, obviously a British belt. Then you go to a European belt. You kind of represent the country of European or Europe or continent, whatever the fuck, And then Intercontinental, you kind of go the whole continent, country to country, and then the international is the whole country. You know, you go anywhere. It's kind of weird that what's the difference between European and international. Yeah, you know, that one's a little I don't know. But the Intercontinental, you could go from Tom Schwartz. Now he can leave. See, Dylan White, he wants to fight Deontay Wilder, but he can't do it with the international belt, the WBO International. He could fight within Europe. He can fight anyone. He's like the king of Europe. You know, in the WBO bracket, he's the king of Europe. But if he wants to fight Deontay Wilder, he can't. Who can fight Deontay Wilder? Tom Schwartz, cause he's the king. He's the king of he can travel from continent to he can cross water. It's where I took a long time to explain it, but that Intercontinental belt, he can leave his continent and come. He could leave Germany, come to the United States, cause that Intercontinental, travel across water from one continent to another. Dylan White's International can only be the king of Europe. You know, any country within Europe, he can do that. Like I said, I don't really know the difference between a European and an international, but I guess it's just more of a clout name since you have but there's a WBO European. I don't quite get it, but that's the international and intercontinental. I do more looking into that European shit. Well, anyway, back to the whole thing. Off track with seeing that Senad was in the ring with Schwartz, and he put more of a offensive attack against him. Lets me know how the brackets, like, okay, Takam is looked at pretty good, you know. The lower the B's and the C's and the D's look at Takam probably like he's like an A fighter. You know, he just got in the ring with Joshua, Derek Chisora, you know. So Senad was like, okay, this guy is top notch, you know. So Senad was his unnormal stuff. He's moving around the ring, and he's not used to that, so he started to get tired. And Takam wasn't looking good chasing around the ring. And finally, you know, he started reaching for the shot. So I don't know if it was good on Takam's cutting him off, showing some boxing, or was it just finally Senad was getting tired. But in the 5th round, he started hitting some clean shots, you know, and Senad just couldn't take it. It's those shots where it's starting to affect your whole body, starting landing hooks. And then in the 6th round, more came, and in the 7th round, he got dropped 3 times. Like the first one was just a nice, you know, again, the same punch he'd been taking the last 2 rounds, the 5th and the 6th, the ones that was rocking him, you know, making his legs come off the ground and swaying him. It was a same punch. It just the effects of a tired fighter getting a hit. And we saw it with Derek Chisora. You know, Dylan White took him out because he was tired. And like the first one, he just like fell to a knee. The second one, he took like an uppercut, I believe it was, and he like staggered back, and then he fell to another, like he sat down to a knee. And he's always like leaning against the ropes on all the hits. And then like they were saying stop it should be stopped, because he wasn't doing nothing but fighting Takam back. You know, the hits he was providing on Takam wasn't doing nothing. He was exhausted, you could see. And then the third one, he just, when he got cracked, he just fell, you know, the left hand, and the referee just stopped it. Now people were saying, like I said, it should have been stopped earlier. You know, that referee had a little moment earlier in the card with the David Price card, which is a whole nother conversation on its own. But it's, you know, it's where can Takam really go from here? You know, why was Gerald Miller in the crowd? Was, like I said, I don't know if he's been on the European TV circuit. Were they over there promoting it? Gerald Miller, trying to get the boxing fan base a little familiar with him. So, with the rumor of AJ fighting in America, or was he over there maybe scouting the loser of Chisora White? But you know, Will maybe Miller and Takam? You know, what type of name does Miller need? Takam, what would be a more interesting fight for Miller? What would the fans take for? You know, Takam's tough, been in there with Joshua, but got knocked out by Chisora. Chisora just got knocked out by Dylan White. So, do you want to fight the guy who they both got knocked out? But I guess you fight the guy who knocked out the winner of the two losers, I guess. I guess, I don't know. Leave a comment down below. And Gerald Miller, who would you rather see him fight? Chisora or Takam? Like I said, he fights the winner out of those two losers, and that's Chisora. They're both up there in age, right on Gerald Miller's resume status, These would be like, oh, shit. Chisora and Takam is like action fights for Miller. Like, oh, shit. You fight someone with a decent pulse. That's sad, and I like Miller too, but it'll be interesting, Takam, Chisora for Gerald Miller. Good fights for all three people. Good business move for all three people. This is the RT Boxing Show. Leave a comment down below. How do you like that three-way dance? Who gets to fight? Right here on the RT Boxing Show. I'm your host, Mr. A.